Okay, so this 10th tip is extremely important. It's possibly the most important tip out of all of these. In this video, I'm going to share with you my secrets to growing long, healthy, thick hair in cornrows. As you can see, I've had these in for about, this is the third week, maybe 2 weeks and a half. And as you can see, it already starts to look like, there's something going on. And I do have a couple secrets on how I grow my hair nice and long and thick and healthy without any breakage or dryness or anything. Like, I have mastered the art of growing your hair in cornrows. Make sure you listen all the way because I have 10 tips. Of course, you can take any tip you want, but they work so great together. So if that seems interesting, stay tuned all the way till the end. If you don't know me, my name is Angelica. I post videos twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays about growing long, healthy, natural hair. But from now on, I think I'm going to be doing an extra Friday video that's something a little different, or a hair video. So you guys let me know in the comment section below on what you actually want to see. And if you want to see that video when it comes up, or just more hair videos, hit the subscribe button. It is right down there, as well as the bell. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post. Let's get into the first tip. Okay, so the first thing I do to grow long, healthy hair kind of starts before I have the braids, and that is I braid my hair myself. Now, this, if you have tried and you literally cannot braid your hair yourself, of course, there's no way around this, but the way you can get around this is by having whoever's braiding your hair, make sure you find someone you're comfortable with, so that if they're braiding your hair too tight, you can let them know that they're braiding it too tight. If they are over manipulating your hair while they're making the lines and combing it and you feel like your hair is breaking, or if it hurts, your hair shouldn't hurt as you're doing it. If it hurts, it means there's something going wrong. So whoever's braiding your hair, make sure that you're comfortable enough with them so you can tell them like, hey, this doesn't feel good, I think you're damaging my hair or whatever, so that you do not cause any damage before you even start to protect your hair in the protective style. So that's the best tip if someone else is braiding your hair. If you're braiding your own hair, one, make sure you don't braid it too tight, and two, be gentle as you're braiding, because even if maybe the braid is not that tight but you're kind of violent as you're doing the braiding, you could still be breaking and ripping some certain hair out, especially when you're separating the hair at the top, like while you're doing the braid, when it kind of locks together. If you just like split it roughly, you'll be damaging your hair as you're braiding it, and it just defeats the whole purpose of using cornrows to grow your hair. The second tip is I always wash my hair in cornrows. So I would either wash my hair, first of all, it's like the best wash day ever because it takes like a quarter of the time it would take me to wash my hair when it's out. But also, it's up to you to decide when to wash your hair. So if your hair still feels extremely clean, and like after a whole week your hair still feels perfectly fine, it's not itching, it looks clean, it feels clean, you can stretch it to 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks you can wash your hair in the braids, and then moving forward from then, every week you can wash your hair until you take your braids out. Now, how long you keep them in is up to you. I will address this in a different point as we move on, but for now I just say, please wash your hair in the cornrows. I know it is very easy to forget. Even for me, sometimes I know I'm supposed to do it and I keep saying, I'm doing it tomorrow, and next thing it's been 3 or 4 weeks and you haven't washed your hair in the braids. So please, you can wash your hair in the braids, and it's not going to add to additional frizz unless you're doing it properly. I actually have a video on how to wash your hair properly in cornrows. So if it's gone up already, it will be in the eye or possibly just at the end of this video. If it hasn't gone up yet, then make sure you hit the subscribe button because it's probably gonna go up right after this video. Okay, so the third thing is I use rice water in my cornrows twice a month. Let me say every 2 weeks I will use rice water in my cornrows, and I use it the same way I would use it if my hair was out. So I would go ahead and spray it in my hair. I think I'll have a little demo, I can show it. I spray it in my hair, then I rinse it out after 20 minutes, and then I continue with my regular wash day routine. Now, if rice water does not work for you, of course you can skip this and just do whatever you want. But I highly recommend rice water, and especially the Yao women's version, because the other types of rice water I make, I feel like they make my hair a little bit hard, and a little bit of the starch, I feel like it's not broken down enough to absorb perfectly into my hair shaft, so it just doesn't feel as great. But with the Yao Women, my hair feels so soft. That recipe is the best, and I do have a couple videos, so I will link the whole playlist, I think, at the end of this video. And with that rice water, I will spray it on my roots, all the way on my roots first, and then I'll spray it all over my braids and completely saturate my hair, leave it in, and then wash it out. And this really helps with shedding. When you take your braids out, you will have much less shedding, because even if you don't get the whole hair growth 1 inch 2 inches in a single week or whatever from the rice water, the number one thing that you're guaranteed to always get, at least in my opinion, is at least half the regular shedding that you get. So if you get less shedding, automatically you have more hairs on your head. Your hair is going to look thicker, healthier, fuller, and shinier. So if you have never tried this, or if you've tried rice water when your hair is out, try it in your braids, and if it still doesn't work, girl, just give it up. But if it does, you will thank me, trust me. The fourth thing is a tip that I share all the time, and this is that I do not braid my hair all the way to the ends like a tiny, tiny, tiny braid. I always leave about an inch or maybe slightly more than half an inch at the ends of my braids, and I just twirl it around my finger, because if you braid your hair all the way to the end, no matter how you try and undo it, you're still going to cause some damage and breakage and split ends. If you don't understand and you haven't seen any of my other videos before, I will show you. This is just what I mean. I hope you can see it from there. Like, it's just coiled around. They're just coiled around. It's not actually braided. The braid ends here. And all this is just coiled around. And that makes it easier, because when I have to undo, I just have to literally do this, roll out the coil, and start taking the braid out. It uses no effort. You will not lose any kinds of hairs. You're not going to get damage, and it will prevent split ends. And here's the thing, your hair doesn't grow from your ends, it grows from your roots, but maintaining and retaining length is done at the end. So if you don't take care of the ends, which are the oldest part of your hair and the most prone to breakage, if you don't take care of that part of your hair, it's just going to keep staying the same length, and it's just, you feel like your hair is not growing. So take care of your scalp, like spraying the rice water, but you also need to take care of your ends if you actually want to see the length that you're growing. The fifth thing is I moisturize my hair 2 to 3 times a week. Very lightly. Sometimes I'll literally just spray on some water and go on with an oil, so I moisturize and seal. Sometimes I'll take an actual leave-in moisturizer, like what's that, S-Curl No Drip. I mean, it's not the most amazing thing, but the ingredients are pretty fine, and I know I'm not going to constantly use it to do the whole S-Curl styling, because I don't style my hair very often, like wash and goes. I really don't do that often, so I don't want it to expire and go bad, you know. Gotta use that coin sensibly, so I will be using it as well. But also, I just use regular leave-in creams and I dilute them with water. Sometimes I'll actually just get a regular conditioner, dilute it with water, and then spray it all over my hair, all over my scalp, and then I'll seal that in with an oil. So I will do that at least 2 to 3 times a day. 2 to 3 times a week. Now the minimum should be once a week. Please don't do it every day. Too much of everything is bad. I know when I give tips like this, people start saying, well, since my hair is in braids, can I use the rice water every day? No, you cannot. You cannot use it every day. You cannot use it once a week. That's still a bit too much, especially because even when you wash it out, there could be traces left. Once every 2 weeks is fine, or once a month is fine. If you want to moisturize your hair, even if you have very dry hair, at least go every other day. Every day is too much. So please don't do that. Hopefully, if you're going to ask that, I've already answered it for you. Let's get into the sixth tip. Okay, so the sixth thing is kind of back to the beginning. When I braid my hair, I braid damp hair. If you haven't seen my video on how I braid my hair, the cornrows I have in my head right now, that's the video I did post of me braiding this. So I do not blow dry my hair before. This shirt is very annoying. I do not blow dry my hair before I braid it, because one, blow drying the hair leads to heat damage, it leads to breakage. Two, blow drying the hair can also lead to itchy scalp, at least for me, because of all the dry hair blowing on my scalp. I tend to get a little bit more of dandruff and itchy scalp, and that just doesn't end well. So you could look at it one way and say, if you blow dry your hair, you're going to have less manipulation when you're braiding it, and it will be easier and stuff like that. That's possible. If you could do a heatless blowout, that would be better. And then I also do not completely wet. I don't braid wet hair, because that can also lead to breakage. I braid damp hair, and I moisturize and seal each section or each part before I braid the hair, and that way my hair is already moisturized as I'm braiding it. It is nice and easy to detangle, and I also do not have to deal with the heat, so that really leads to lots of hair growth, because I like to keep my hair in braids a lot. I braid my hair a lot, so if I blow dry my hair every time I braided it, I would kind of be getting like heat damage first and then protective styling, which really doesn't make any sense. So yeah. Also, if you're on this journey with me, I did post a video about like a 3-month challenge with no heat and doing all these different things like the cornrows. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. Okay, so the seventh thing goes for you, whether you blow dry your hair or you leave it out or you braid dry hair. However you braid your hair, this tip is important for you, and this is I thoroughly detangle every single section of braid before I braid it. Now, I usually use like a Denman brush or the easy detangling brush, or yeah, basically just those two. Just get whatever tool you use to thoroughly detangle your hair, I would suggest you use that. And the reason is, first of all, your hair is not going to get tangled as you're braiding it, which could lead to breakage. But what it's really more important before is when you are unbraiding your hair, because your hair is going to stay in the exact same point. It's not going to be moving around. You won't be doing anything. It's literally flat almost on your scalp. So when you take it out, if you braided your hair tangled, there's a chance that your hair is going to get a little bit more matted in that section, and as you're unbraiding, you cause breakage there. You might even have whole clumps of hair that just come out because there's literally no way to remove them during the detangling process. So if you have thoroughly detangled hair, it's going to be so easy to detangle. It'll even feel like your hair is softer when you take out the braids, and this happens for me all the time. So please, if you don't detangle your hair before you braid it, whether it is straight, whether it is blow dried, whether it is dry hair, which is air dried, however you braid it, please thoroughly detangle every single braid before you braid it, not even just like detangling your whole head. You can do that first roughly if you want, but before you do every single braid, detangle that section. Okay, so the 8th tip is scalp massages, and the reason why I love scalp massages so much because this is the one, I think it's one of the only things where you guys can comment and ask and say, since scalp massages are so good, since they send blood flow to your scalp and oxygen and they boost hair growth, can I do this every day? Yes, you can. This is one of the few things that you can actually do every single day, provided you're doing it correctly. If you don't do it correctly, this can lead to breakage and damage and actually patches of like bald patches because you just aggressively rub at your scalp instead of nicely massaging your scalp like this. Oh, by the way, yes, I did my edges today because I wanted to be extra. I can't remember the last time I laid my edges super nice like this, so I thought I'd play around today. Anyway, you can just go ahead and massage your scalp nicely in circular motions, no rubbing, no going in opposite directions. You should have no hairs, not even a single hair, unless it was already shed and literally if you did this, the piece of hair came off, then that's fine. But when you finish massaging your scalp, first of all, one, you should not feel pain on your scalp. You should not have any hairs on your hands. And I do have a video on scalp massages in braids and also when your hair is just regularly out. So I think I can link that in the eye right here just now, so you can check that out on how to massage your hair in braids. But it is extremely essential. Now, if you want to know like the minimum amount, I would suggest 1 to 2 times a week is a good time frame. And if you're not sure, if you don't remember when, the time when you oil your scalp, that's the best time because it will actually help with the absorption of those products into your hair, into your scalp, and it will give you a nice boost. You don't have to oil your hair every single time because too much oil is a bad thing, but too much scalp massages is perfectly fine. So I would not suggest that you use oil every time you massage your scalp, but you can massage your scalp on all the different days when you don't add oil. So it is honestly up to you, but if I was to make a suggestion, twice a week is a good time frame. Okay, so the 9th one is that I only keep my cornrows in for a maximum of 5 to 6 weeks. 6 weeks is even pushing it for me. I can get there sometimes, but it's usually around 5 weeks is when I'm like, okay, I'm done. Now, a lot of people ask me, can I keep my braids in for like 2 months or 3 months? The thing with that is it is extremely tricky to leave your braids in that long. Like no one can tell you what to do. If you want to leave your braids in for 3 months, you can absolutely leave them in for 3 months. But the thing is, in 3 months, if your hair grows like the average person, 1/2 inch per month, that will mean you have about 1.5 inches, or let me say 1 inch of hair growth by that time. Which means like even if you lift your braid like this, like you can see there's already some movement because my hair has grown a little bit. But apart from your hair growing, your hair also loosens up a little bit. So you might have about 2 inches of hair. Even if you just grow about 1 inch or 1.5 inches, your braids will naturally loosen up, so there will be extra hair at the bottom. That can lead to a lot of breakage and tangling, and even when you take out your hair to detangle, you could deal with more mats and tangles, and you might find that sure, you retained a lot of length, but during the detangling process you might break and damage so much more. So unless you are very experienced and you do this multiple times and you experience no damage and no breakage, I would say totally go for it. It would probably be an amazing protective style, but for my recommendation, I would say do not go over 6 weeks. For me, I would say 4 to 5 weeks is the sweet spot, because now the next part of this same tip is the opposite. If you leave your braids in for too little, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it defeats the purpose of you having cornrows as a protective style, because you braiding your hair and then only leaving it in for a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks and then taking it out is kind of over manipulation, because you have to detangle thoroughly every single braid. Then you have to braid it up, which is also manipulation. And then unbraiding it and then detangling, that is a lot of manipulation. So if you're doing that once a month, once every 2 months, whatever, that is fine. But if you're doing that every 2 weeks, that's a little bit excessive, and it can actually lead to more breakage, damage, and thinning of hair. So like I said, I think the sweet spot is between 4 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on how frizzy your hair is, how bored you get with hairstyles. If you just want to take it out and you're done with it, at least try to make it to 4 weeks, because that's actually a good time frame for you to get some good hair growth without losing any extra hairs and without just manipulating your hair, just by leaving your hair alone. Just think of back in the day, all those singers, Bow Wow, Omarion, and all those people who had braids. Lloyd, they had such beautiful long hair because we would almost never see their hair out. It would just always be in braids. They wouldn't do anything to it. They'd have the oil scalped and whatever, and they're done. And you wonder, why does men's hair grow so fast? Possibly testosterone has something to do with it, but number one thing is probably because they basically don't do anything to their hair. Okay, so this 10th tip is extremely, extremely important. It's possibly the most important tip out of all of these. Like I said, they work great together and they work great separately. So this tip is, when you're detangling your hair, first of all, make sure that it is moisturized before you detangle it, because manipulating dry hair causes excessive breakage and you might not notice until it's too late. So first, I would say moisturize your hair. You can moisturize your hair the night before or right before you do the braids. But here is the thing. Do not over moisturize your hair. If your hair is damp or wet before you start unbraiding it, it's also going to lead to breakage, because your hair is going to be, usually your hair feels a little bit on the over moisturized side when you take your braids out, and it's easier for it to absorb moisture. So you might feel that like moisture overload, kind of feel like your hair feels kind of stringy and sticky if you make it wet, which means as you're unbraiding your hair, it's just going to get damaged. So I would suggest keep your hair moisturized. Like, you can even just spray a little bit of water, spray a little bit of oil. I actually have maybe 2 or 3 videos of myself unbraiding my hair, but give this video a thumbs up and comment unbraid if you would like me to post a video of myself undoing these specific braids in my head right now. And in about 2 weeks, I can do a video unbraiding them with you guys, and maybe we could do like a little girl chat or whatever as I unbraid. So let me know if you want to see that. But anyway, when you unbraid your hair, make sure it is not damp. So it should be moisturized. Start unbraiding the hair with your fingers. Do not use a comb, just use your hands. And then once the braid is taken out, pull out all the shed hairs with your hands without getting a comb, because no matter what, your hair will have shed hairs. Everybody's hair sheds every single day. The only thing you can do is reduce the amount of shedding. You cannot stop it. So there will be shed hair, especially after not combing your hair for a whole month or more. So first you pull out all the shed hairs. Then now you can maybe put some detangler on it, or just a conditioner or leave-in conditioner, whatever you want to use to help you detangle. Then you can take your wide tooth comb and just get out all the shed hairs, remove all the tangles, and move on to the next section just like that. But also, it's up to you on how you want to take down. If you want, you can take out all the braids and then section it and detangle. I find it much easier to just detangle as I go, so you can go ahead and do that. And if these tips helped you and you want more tips on how to grow your hair in cornrows or any other style or any other kinds of videos for Fridays, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know. Hit my face right there if you didn't subscribe in the beginning. Hit my face here to subscribe to my other channel, which has more fun stuff that you might want to see that's not on this channel. Watch the 2 videos on the side of the screen right here if you'd like to see any of my older videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!